Hello, I'm Jade Gregori. I'm here to speak about an upcoming trip to Scotland for a very small group of people that I'll be taking with me. We will be going first to Aberdeen and visiting there the recumbent stone circles of Aberdeenshire, familiarizing ourselves with those stones and the nature of their workings, and then traversing across Scotland to the Isle of Skye, one of the most beautiful places I've encountered on earth, there to visit the fairy pools. The Isle of Skye is noted as a place of the fairy people. From there, we will transit by ferry over to the Isle of Lewis, there to spend 2 nights in the standing stone circles of Callanish. In the first night of the full moon, we'll be spending the evening into the morning at Callanish 3, there for the activation of the sacred feminine and the activation of the sacred masculine. This is a ceremony of sacred union. With that activation, we become the very embodiment of those dynamic principles and forces. And in the morning, each from our place of empowerment as a dynamic masculine or the dynamic feminine, we give honor, acknowledgement, recognition to each other. And that we carry forth into our lives. The second night of the full moon, we'll be spending in the major stone circle of Callanish, where there's an aisle of stones that faces the southeast, and out and beyond it is a range of mountains which in profile looks like a woman lying upon her back. In the local Scottish tradition, they refer to that woman, that range of mountains, as Sleeping Beauty, for this is the place of origin of the story of Sleeping Beauty. For every 18 years, the moon walks the land, as they say there. The moon, at this time, because of the extreme northern latitude, doesn't rise up across the sky, but rolls across that southern and eastern horizon. And as it's a very low arc, it just crests the body of that woman. Amongst many indigenous peoples today, and throughout Europe before the coming of the Indo-European patriarchal invasions, the moon, then as even now, was recognized as the embodiment of the divine masculine, not the divine feminine as it is in the Hellenic and post-Hellenic traditions, but in the indigenous original form was recognized as the divine masculine. And so the divine masculine, the prince in the story, rolls across the body of the Earth Mother of Sleeping Beauty, and there they embrace. They embrace in sacred union. That is the embodiment of that which we have enacted just the night before is enacted mythically and visually there at Callanish. So we'll be engaging that incredible astronomical cycle that happens only in a short window once every 18 years. And so we will be there for that, to observe and engage the moon walking the land, of the prince embracing Sleeping Beauty, of the divine masculine activating the divine feminine as she activates the divine masculine and awakens it on behalf of us. From there, we travel back to Aberdeen to revisit once again the recumbent stone circles. Now that we are familiarized with them and have experienced the activations at Callanish, Then we return and bring that to our experience at the recumbent stone circles, where the timekeepers hold place. The timekeepers are those throughout the generations, the ages, who hold the sacred knowledge of the timings of the moon walking the land, yes, but also of the moon in its position walking the land, being in direct alignment with the center of our galaxy, which is not visible to the eye, but is known to us timekeepers. And you can see it on an app these days. So we will be going there to engage that activation. And if it is your calling, as it has been mine, to activate and awaken as a timekeeper, that initiatory process will be made available. It's not for me to determine nor you to determine, but rather for the mystery to determine. But we will be there and available of that activation, of that initiation. That will cover 11 days. We begin June 23rd and we return on July 4th. So in that intervening time, we will travel together as a small group. I've limited it to 8 travelers, and then there are 5 staff members, drivers, my co-facilitator, Rachel, who handles the feminine aspect of these activations and journeys, because I'm a guy. I'll handle the masculine part, but I don't do everything. And so I'm honored to have the presence of Rachel Ann for the activation of the feminine as a co-partner in these ceremonials. And with you, not as mere travelers, but as engaged participants in this experience and journey. And our drivers, 2 wonderful fellows, one Scottish and the other an American expat transplanted into Scotland, who know like the back of their hand the roads and the stones and circles. Wonderful guys. And so we'll be traveling together as a cohesive group with honor, engagement, respect, one for the other. A joyous time. I've done this before numerous times throughout the many decades I've been to Scotland during these significant timings, and it is always so fulfilling and joyous, empowering. So if this calls to you, I invite you. Go to my website, jadegregory.com. That is JADEGRIGORI.com, and look for the Scotland tour. You can look under current events and find it there. So if it calls to you, I invite you. If so, I'll look forward to spending that time with you. Okay.